So we'll start with Bitcoin and we'll see some history, some definitions associated with Bitcoin, and we'll see why Bitcoin has value. Why do people say that Bitcoin has value? And why can there never be more than 21 million Bitcoins? What is Bitcoin halving? What are Bitcoin miners? What is a Bitcoin wallet? How do you like generate your public key, private key? How do you create transactions on Bitcoin? So we'll see some simple terminologies and some working of Bitcoin. So we'll first start with what is a Bitcoin. So as we all know, Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. By cryptocurrency, we mean it is a digital currency which can be used for transaction, that is for sending money from one person to another. So Bitcoin is a type of digital money, and just like with all the money, you can store it, you can exchange it, and you can make payments with it. But the key to what makes Bitcoin different from other currencies like the dollar or the euro or the yen lies in its decentralized structure and its peer to peer nature. So, what does that mean? So, with centralized money, that is the money that we use for like the Indian rupee or dollar, this is a centralized currency. It is also called the fiat money. So, the centralized currency is it is issued by the banks, and we as citizens use this money for doing transactions. So if you make the exception of cash, all these transactions are made through intermediaries like the banks, and there are payment gateways. So with this fiat money, this centralized money, these transactions are always traceable. You have a bank account, you have some money in your bank account. If you do net banking, you do credit card payment, you do UPI payment, all of those transactions are recorded in your bank statement, your bank account statement. Also, when you like doing transactions with cash, you withdraw that money from your account only. So almost in 99% of the instances, the transactions are always done through some kind of mediator. It is either your bank and or it is some kind of payment gateway. But Bitcoin, by contrast, is a peer to peer, like an electronic payment system that is not controlled by any bank. It is not controlled by any payment gateway. It is dependent upon the users of that peer to peer system. So, what I'm saying is that if I want to send you a Bitcoin, there is no intermediary involved, there is no mediation. I can send you Bitcoins as it is. That is, it is a one point connection because we are on a peer to peer system. And we know that in a peer to peer system, every peer is connected to every other peer on the network. That is, if we have if we talk about a Bitcoin ecosystem or the Bitcoin blockchain, everybody who is part of that blockchain can send transactions directly to one another without any intermediary like the bank or any payment gateways. So, this kind of infrastructure is decentralized in nature. There is no single authority, there is no one point of control in our system. So, we are using our decentralized infrastructure to make transactions on a peer to peer basis. Peer to peer basis means we are directly sending money or receiving money from one another. And whatever money, that is whatever like if you're talking about Bitcoin, the currency is BTC, the Bitcoin. So that value, that currency, it works independently from any government, any like organization or any kind of financial institution. You need not ask for permission to like use Bitcoin, and there is no risk that you will be cut off from the Bitcoin ecosystem. And there is no like there is nobody in the position of power. Like everybody has an equal like standing in the system. It is globally distributed, and we'll soon see how the system is resistant to corruption, how it is durable, how transactions when made are immutable and cannot be like falsified or tampered with. So this is all about Bitcoin. Now, why people find value in Bitcoin? Now, Bitcoin has value for like two key reasons. Since there is no intermediary involved, you people find it useful because your transactions cannot be traced. So you can use it as a way to store and exchange values. Like if we talk about Poland or Estonia, most of their like companies pay their employees using Bitcoin because you earn your money. So the concept here is when you've earned your money, it does not matter how you spend it. Your money should not be regulated. Your money should not be kept an eye on. So Bitcoin has value because it is useful as a way to store and exchange some value or some transactions, and also because people have agreed that it has some value. Like when we talk about, because now if you're talking about Bitcoin, we know that Bitcoin is like one of the most popular cryptocurrency. Then we have Ethereum, but we have many other cryptocurrencies also. If you like Cardano, Matic, then there was this Dogecoin, which is also known as the meme coin. So when we talk about like these kind of cryptocurrencies, they don't have any intrinsic value and they are very volatile in nature. Elon Musk makes some comment and the value of Dogecoin goes up. That is, he says he'll use Dogecoin and invest in Tesla. So the value of Dogecoin or the Dogecoin, whatever it is called, it goes up. Why does it go up? Because people start investing in that coin, people start buying that cryptocurrency. And whenever you start buying some cryptocurrency, its value shoots up. So all of a sudden, a coin which was like, say, it one Dogecoin was 90 rupees, it shoots up to almost 10,000 rupees. But at the same time, the problem here is that that currency has value because some like this Elon Musk makes a comment that it is a very useful currency, or he'll use this currency to invest in Tesla. But say after 2 days, he says that this Dogecoin is a very useless currency, and you had like bought around say 10 Dogecoin. So its value had like its value had shot up to around 10,000. You bought 10 Dogecoin. Like the amount of Dogecoin you had was 1 lakh rupees. Now Elon Musk says that Dogecoin is useless. So people start selling their cryptocurrency. They start selling this coin, and its value comes crashing down. Earlier it was 90, it became 10,000. Now it becomes just 20. So one important thing to know about these cryptocurrencies is that the reason these cryptocurrencies have value is because group of people agree that it has value. The same thing happens with Bitcoin, the same thing happens with Ethereum. But these currencies, they provide you with something. That is, you use Bitcoin to like perform transactions, to send money from one person to another. That is, it holds some value. It is useful for storing and exchanging transactions, for making payments, etc. Ethereum also, you can use Ethereum to test your own blockchains, to like build your decentralized applications. But with these meme coins like Dogecoin and Cardano, etc., they don't have a developer community. They are not doing anything. They're not solving any problem. So when you invest in these kind of cryptocurrencies, it is always a chance that you will lose your money. And so coming back to the point, what gives Bitcoin a value is that it is useful, that it allows you to perform transactions, send money, make payments, etc. And second reason that is true for all cryptocurrencies is that any cryptocurrency has value because people say it has value. And often Bitcoin is compared to gold because both of them have similar characteristics. Bitcoin has a limited supply. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins. We'll see why we'll only have 21 million Bitcoins. Bitcoin is very easily divisible. We are talking about the cryptocurrency, not the blockchain. The currency which is used for transaction, the BTC will be very easily divisible. You can divide one Bitcoin into 100 million pieces. So each Bitcoin can be divided into 100 million pieces. Also, Bitcoin is very durable. So we have a huge global distributed network. We have a peer-to-peer network in which transactions are performed in a peer-to-peer basis. It is independently operated. It is not controlled by any one organization, any bank, any intermediary. And it makes use of the Bitcoin software, which provides ownership to you. So you make use of a Bitcoin software, which is known as the Bitcoin client software, which you use to become a operational node in the Bitcoin blockchain network. So let us see how Bitcoin has a limited supply, because if you'll ever read about Bitcoin, everywhere they will mention that there can only be 21 million Bitcoins in total. So let us see why there can never be more than 21 million Bitcoins. So in order to understand why there will be only 21 million Bitcoins, you need to understand how Bitcoins are created. So it is not that 21 million Bitcoins are in existence and you are using those Bitcoins. Bitcoins are created only when mining is done. So mining is an operation that allows you to create a Bitcoin. So let us see how that happens. Suppose we have a person A. Okay, so a person A performs some transaction. We'll see a very high level of how that is done. So when he does any transaction on the Bitcoin blockchain, this transaction after verification will go in a transaction pool, and this pool is also known as the memory pool. So here a lot of transactions will be present. We'll have, say, transaction 1, transaction 2, transaction 3, transaction 4, say till transaction n. N is some number, constant. So now what happens is we have some nodes in our Bitcoin blockchain, which are known as miners. So miners are participants in the blockchain network, the Bitcoin blockchain network, who have a special task of creating blocks. So block creation process in Bitcoin blockchain is known as mining. So miners, these are nodes in Bitcoin P2P system that are assigned the task of creating blocks. Okay. So if suppose there is a miner, what this miner will do is he will pick up some transactions from the transaction pool. He'll pick some transactions from the transaction pool, and basis the consensus algorithm used here, he will solve a cryptographic puzzle and he will create a block. So this block will consist of the transactions. It will consist of some transactions. And whenever a new block is created, that is whenever Bitcoin miners create a new Bitcoin block, this is a Bitcoin block, they get reward for building the Bitcoin block. That is, they will get reward for building this Bitcoin block. So whenever this this is a new block that has been created by miner. And whenever a new block is created on the Bitcoin blockchain, the miner is rewarded for building the block. The reward is in the form of new Bitcoins. So the Bitcoin mining process, that is the block building process in Bitcoin, is what is responsible for creating or bringing new coins in the system. So new coins don't exist. That is, it is not that when the Bitcoin system was created, 21 million coins were created then and then there. It did not happen like that. The system is implemented in such a manner that whenever you like pick up transactions from the transaction pool, you solve the cryptographic puzzle to build a block. Whenever you build a block, you will be rewarded in the form of Bitcoins, and this is how new currency will come into the blockchain ecosystem. So Bitcoin miners are special nodes that do the block building work here. So they are responsible for creating a new block, and they get reward for like creating the new block in the form of some Bitcoins. So a Bitcoin block is mined every 10 minutes. So one block, this one block is mined every 10 minutes. Now, if you do the math, then how many blocks will be mined in a year? So if we talk in terms of years, if one block is like created or mined every 10 minutes, then 56,500 blocks are created in 1 year. Okay. So with every block comes some block reward. So one block is mined in every 10 minutes. So 56,500 blocks are mined in 1 year, and 2,10,000 blocks are mined every 4 years. So you'll see why I'm doing this. So I think this must be clear that the Bitcoin software is designed, or the Bitcoin consensus algorithm is designed in such a manner that a new block will be created only after 10 minutes. That is, every block, like the gap between two block generation. Suppose we generated a block, say block K, and we had a block K plus 1. So the time interval between two blocks is always 10 minutes when we talk about the Bitcoin blockchain. So one block is generated every 10 minutes. So in 1 year, we generate 56,500 blocks, and in 4 years, we generate 2,10,000 blocks. Now, the Bitcoin blockchain or the Bitcoin ecosystem is created in such a manner that after every 4 years, that is after every 2,10,000 blocks, the block reward is halved. That is, after 2,10,000 blocks, the block reward for creating block reward, which is the Bitcoins that is generated, is halved. So after every 2,10,000 block, the block reward is divided by 2. The block reward is divided by 2. So the Bitcoin blockchain came into existence in 2009. So for the first 2,10,000 blocks, the block reward was 50 BTC. When Bitcoin blockchain came into inception, like at its inception, till the first 2,10,000 blocks were mined, block reward was 50 Bitcoin for every block that was created. Okay. Then in November 2012, the first halving of Bitcoin block reward happened. So the block reward was divided by 2. So now the block reward then becomes, then for the next 2,10,000 block, the block reward becomes 50 by 2, which is 25 BTC. Okay. So Bitcoin blockchain came into existence in 2009. When the first 2,10,000 blocks were mined, every block was given a block reward of 50 Bitcoins. Then after every 2,10,000 blocks, the block reward is halved. So in November 2020, sorry, this is not 2021, this is November 12. So in November 12, the first halving occurred. That is, the block reward was changed from 50 BTC to 25 BTC. Then the next halving occurred in July 2016. That is, for the next 2,10,000 blocks, the block reward was 12.5 BTC. That is, the miner was given 12.5 BTC for every block that was mined, every block that was created. And now since 2020, the block reward has again been halved, and it is 12.5 divided by 2, which is 6.25 BTC. Okay. So presently, the block reward for creating a new block is 6.25 BTC, and we are 76,000 blocks away from the next halving. So when the next halving occurs, the block reward will become 6.25 divided by 2. So the block halving, after the next block halving, it will become 3.125. Okay. Again, when the halving occurs, it will go down from 3.125 to 3.125 divided by 2. And this number is 1.56. Again, halving will occur after 4 years or after 2,10,000 bitcoins, and then this 1.56 will become 1.56 by 2, which is equal to 0.78. It will become 0.78. Okay. So what I'm trying to say here is that after every 4 years or after every 2,10,000 blocks, the block reward is halved. So when the Bitcoin blockchain first came into existence, the the block reward for creating a new block was 50. Then in 2012, the block reward was halved and it became 25. And then in 2016, the block reward was again halved and it became 12.25. Okay. And in 2020 also, the block reward was halved, that is 6.25 Bitcoin. So block reward is halved after every 210,000 blocks, or approximately after every 4 years. So initially, the reward for generating a valid block was 50 Bitcoins. For generating a valid block was 50 Bitcoin, which was halved to 25 Bitcoins in 2012, and which was again halved to 12.5 Bitcoin in 2016. And in 2020, it was halved to 16.25 Bitcoins. So this is kind of a geometric reduction. And this geometric reduction, in which in every 4 years, the Bitcoin is halved, will generate a total supply of only 21 million Bitcoins. Because you see, you will, after some years, reach a number which will be like this, something like this. Okay. Or this number could also be like this. Because we are saying that we can divide one Bitcoin into 100 million pieces. So there will come a time when the block reward would be negligible. And at that point, no new Bitcoin will be created. That is, the total supply of Bitcoin will be exhausted. So the year in which this is supposed to happen is the year 2140. So in this year 2140, the block reward for creating a new block will become negligibly small. Okay. So when this happens, there will be no reward for creating block. There will be no reward for creating block, which also implies that all 21 million Bitcoins have been created. So in 2004, like 2140, almost all of the Bitcoins will be mined. So if all the Bitcoins will be mined, how will you gain Bitcoin? Like if there will be no more Bitcoins to be mined, how will the system benefit? So when something like this happens, that all Bitcoins have been created, then people will earn Bitcoin with the help of transaction fee. Now we'll see all of that later, but for now, this is what it means, that there can never be more than 21 million Bitcoins. That is, the total supply of Bitcoins can only be 21 million. And this is the process of Bitcoin blockchain halving. That is, the block reward is halved either every 4 years or every 2,10 blocks. Sorry, 10,000 blocks. So the Bitcoin block reward halving follows some kind of geometric reduction that happens either every 4 years or every 2,10,000 blocks. So this is all about why can we never have more than 21 million Bitcoins, and what is Bitcoin halving. Now, the point where we have mined almost 85 to 90% of Bitcoins. That is, we have 18.7 million Bitcoins already in existence. So we are saying that the total supply of Bitcoins is 21 million, And out of this 21 million, we have already mined 18.7 million bitcoins. That is 90%, almost 85 to 90% bitcoins have been mined. So this is about how Bitcoin halving occurs and why there are only 21 million bitcoins. So Bitcoin protocol is a decentralized, pseudo-anonymous peer-to-peer digital currency. That is, it is a cryptocurrency, a digital currency. It is decentralized in nature. It is pseudo-anonymous. That is, you're not using your names to perform transactions. We'll see how your transactions are encrypted shortly. Then it has a public ledger that is stored on the blockchain, and every transaction that happens on our Bitcoin blockchain gets stored on this distributed ledger. And then we have already talked about the block reward. That is, it is a reward driven system. And we make use of a consensus algorithm for mining. And this consensus algorithm is known as the proof of work algorithm. And consensus algorithm, what they do is they, first of all, they help in block creation. That is, they decide when a block is created, if the block is valid or not, and in which order do the blocks get added to the blockchain. So we'll study about the consensus algorithm, this proof of work algorithm. So an important thing to note here is that consensus algorithm are the most important aspect of any blockchain, Bitcoin blockchain or any other blockchain system, because they determine the security and the performance of the system. Okay. Also, it is a scarce token economy. Scarce token economy means that this Bitcoin is a limited resource. It is not unlimited in nature. We can only have 21 million Bitcoin. So it is kind of an economy that is like restricted by the limitation that you can only have 21 million Bitcoins. So this is introduction to Bitcoin blockchain. Then we'll have some definitions. That is, we have a distributed ledger, which is used for recording all the transactions that happen on the Bitcoin blockchain. So every node in the Bitcoin blockchain will maintain a ledger, and that ledger will contain the records of every transaction that is being conducted on the blockchain. Now, as mentioned, we'll have two types of nodes in our system. We will have minor nodes, and then we'll have general nodes. So we have two types of nodes, the minor nodes and the general nodes. So these minor nodes are very special nodes, and these general nodes are the major nodes in the system. That is, you will have a lesser number of minors, but you will have large number of these general nodes. So the minor nodes are special nodes that are used for mining Bitcoins. So these minor nodes are the nodes that club the transactions, they perform the proof of work and create a block. So they are used, these minor nodes are the nodes that perform the block creation process in the Bitcoin blockchain. So these are full Bitcoin nodes. Then we have the general nodes, and general nodes are mostly used by users like you and me. If like I start using, like if I download the Bitcoin software, I use the wallet, I create an address, and I start buying Bitcoins. So I'm only transferring Bitcoins in the network. Like suppose I have some Bitcoins, I send you some Bitcoins. So we are only involved in like transactions. We are transferring Bitcoins from one person to another in the network. We are not creating new Bitcoins. So general nodes will be the nodes that are transferring Bitcoin in the network, while we'll have some minor nodes that create new Bitcoins. So minor nodes bring new Bitcoins into the system, whereas general nodes just transfer, that is, they change the ownership of the Bitcoin. That is, I have Bitcoins, I transfer you some, so the ownership of Bitcoin changes. So they are only involved in transacting using the Bitcoins. Then we have a Bitcoin wallet. So this Bitcoin wallet is used to create identities. So we'll study about this. So each user within the Bitcoin blockchain, he or she will have to use the wallet software to create identities. So an identity in a Bitcoin network consists of public and private key. So we will have a public private key pair and a Bitcoin address which is derived from the public private key pair. So we'll see this shortly. So these are some of the definitions. We will have a distributed ledger where all our transactions will be recorded. We will have some nodes, and the nodes operate in a peer-to-peer network. We'll have some general nodes that are involved in transferring and transacting Bitcoins. And we'll have some minor nodes that have the task of building or creating or bringing new Bitcoins into the Bitcoin blockchain ecosystem. And then we have a Bitcoin wallet. So Bitcoin wallet is used to create identities, which is a public private key pair. And this pair is used for creating transactions or transferring Bitcoins from one person to another. So we'll start with the history of Bitcoin. So on August 18, 2008, a domain name called bitcoin.org was registered. And today, at least this domain is given who is guard protected. That is, the identity of the person who registered this domain, his information is not available in the public. So on 18th August 2008, we all know Satoshi Nakamoto registered for a domain name which was bitcoin.org, and its identity has been protected by who is guard protected uh, license. Then on October 31st, 2008, a person or a group of persons using a name Satoshi Nakamoto, they make an announcement to a cryptography mailing list. That is, they chose a group of cryptographers, and an email was sent that, hey, I've been working on a new electronic cash system. It's fully peer to peer, and there is no trusted third party involved. So it was Satoshi Nakamoto. That is, he might be a person or he might be working under a group pseudonym named as Satoshi Nakamoto. So he made an announcement to a group of cryptographers that he's working on a new electronic cash system which is fully peer to peer and there is no intermediary or a trusted third party. And then he published his famous white paper on bitcoin.org, which was titled Bitcoin, a peer to peer electronic cash system. So, not in 2008, but eventually near 2013, 14, 15, it kind of became a Magna Carta for how Bitcoin operates today. So this white paper is kind of a technical description. The Bitcoin white paper outlines the principles of how the peer-to-peer electronic payment system was designed, how it was transparent, that is, it allowed people to send money to one another in a transparent manner, how it was censorship resistant, that is, was no financial institution that was controlling it. There was no uh, like government controlling it. It was completely in the hands of the individuals who were using it. So I don't know if you all know, there was a major economic crisis that happened in 2008. That is, there was a lot of unemployment, not here in India, but throughout the world. The US economy had failed in the year 2008. So at that time, in the year 2008, the entire world was in a kind of a financial crisis, and it was believed that this crisis in the financial markets and the financial crisis that occurred was caused by the monopoly of banks who are like risking billions of dollars worth of money in there. They're using the people's money for their own needs. And somehow that money was lost. So at that time, the world was like in the midst of a financial crisis that was that happened because of excessive speculation. Because like people, the banks were using the money, people were taking loans, and they were speculating. They were like using that money in stock exchanges, and somehow a lot of there was a kind of a depression that had occurred during that times. So this is thought to be the driving force behind creating a currency that was not dependent upon any financial market, that was not controlled by any banks or government agencies, which was completely in the hand of the individuals. Because at that time, a lot of people had lost their money in India, in US, and a lot of people like they lost money in millions and billions, and a lot of people had committed suicides because of the money loss. So this currency, this cryptocurrency, the like the reason behind why it came into existence was because of the depression that occurred in the year 2008, the economies that failed throughout the world. So coming back to the point, now this Bitcoin white paper was the document that outlined how this peer-to-peer cryptocurrency, this electronic payment system, functioned. So it kind of gave the foundation of the first fully functional digital currency, which was powered by a distributed ledger technology, which we now call the blockchain. Then, in January 3rd, 2009, the first Bitcoin block was mined. That is on January 3rd, 2009, the first Bitcoin block was mined, and this mined block was the block zero. So, block zero is also known as the Genesis block. That is Genesis block, and this is the first block in the Bitcoin blockchain, and it was mined on 3rd January 2009. And the text that was written in that block, that is the block zero block of the Bitcoin blockchain, had the text that the Times 3rd January 2009, the chancellor on the brink of second bailout for banks. So it was kind of a political statement which was taking a dig at the US economy, which failed because of some banks. And it serves as a proof that first block was mined on that date, because we also have a timestamp value on the block, which is cryptographically secured. Then on January 8, 2009, the first version of the Bitcoin software was announced to the very same group of cryptographers that Satoshi Nakamoto has first communicated with. And on January 9, 2009, block 1 is mined and the Bitcoin mining begins. That is, we had the block 0, we had block 1 on January 9, and after that, the Bitcoin mining continued. So no one knows who invented Bitcoin. We all know that it was Satoshi Nakamoto, and it is a name that is either associated with one single person, or it is like a group of people who released the original Bitcoin white paper in 2008, and they worked on it to bring about the original Bitcoin software, which was released in the year 2009. So this is all that is known about Satoshi Nakamoto. We still don't know who that person is. So this is brief history of about how the Bitcoin came into existence. Today, the value of one Bitcoin is 35 lakhs 75,467. And if you remember when we were talking about Bitcoin halving, even right now, when you create a new block, you get a block reward of 6.25 Bitcoins. When you create a Bitcoin, that is, when you create a new block, even right now, like at this moment, if somebody mines a new Bitcoin block, they will get 2 crores 24 lakhs 13,689 rupees for creating a new block. So this is why people are like using Bitcoin blockchain so much, because the value it provides, like if you are lucky enough to like mine a new block, this is the amount of like currency that is available with you. So I think we'll stop here for now. If you have any questions, you can ask, and we'll continue from the next class. From the next class onwards, we'll see how the Bitcoin blockchain operates. And this was the brief overview about what a Bitcoin blockchain is and how it came into existence. So, if anybody has any questions, please do ask. You can write your questions in the in messages section, or you can also email me your questions. And from the next class onwards, we'll see how you perform transactions on Bitcoin. Okay, when will I upload the questions? Oh, so I will upload all the like these recorded lectures today, and you can go through them. I'll upload them by evening. All the lectures, all the lectures that we have had till now, I'll upload them.